My colleagues and I remain squarely focused on achieving our dual mandate goals of maximum employment and stable prices for the benefit of the American people. Despite heightened uncertainty, the economy is still in a solid position. The unemployment rate remains low, and the labor market is at or near maximum employment. Inflation has come down a great deal, but has been running somewhat above our 2% longer run objective. In support of our goals, today the Federal Open Market Committee decided to leave our policy interest rate unchanged. The risks of higher unemployment and higher inflation appear to have risen, and we believe that the current stance of monetary policy leaves us well positioned to respond in a timely way to potential economic developments.
Hey, what's going on, bull runners? Welcome back to the channel. What if I told you that the powers that be are quietly pulling strings behind the scenes, shaping the future of your investments while you sleep? Welcome to today's news, where we're peeling back the curtain on secrets that the elites don't want you to know. The Federal Reserve just made a move that could shake the entire market. Coinbase dropped a bombshell about XRP that got the SEC scrambling. And the US Treasury Secretary is whispering support for crypto bills that could change everything. But here's the real question. Are these moves a coordinated effort to control crypto's rise, or a golden opportunity for us to get ahead? Stick with me as we break it all down for you in simple terms, exposing what's really going on and how you can stay ahead. The solution in this game is knowledge is power, and today we're arming you with the truth to navigate this wild market. Plus, we will be heading over to X to find out all of the breaking news in the financial markets today. We'll also be heading over to Forex Factory and find out all the red folder news in the financial markets. And we'll also be jumping into the charts at the end of this video to take a look at XRP and the potential signals. But first, let's head over to CoinMarketCap and check out the overall health of the crypto market today. We are coming in at $3 trillion total market cap. There was a decent day of volume in the crypto markets yesterday, $125 billion worth of trading and getting us to that $3 trillion mark. As you can see on the 30-day mark here, we have been in a consistent uptrend for the last 30 days. And when we zoom out to the yearly, we have broken above a very important level. If you remember back in November 11th, 2024, we just surpassed $3 trillion. A couple days later on November 15th was confirmation, and we continued riding all the way up to the all-time highs. Our next level of interest in the market is March 2nd, 3.15 trillion. If we can break above that high, that'll be a huge sign of strength in the market. Fear and greed index coming in at 53. Yesterday was a 50 and last week was 52. Altcoin season finally starting to pick up just a little bit. We are out of full-on Bitcoin season. We're 28 out of 100, so not even close to altcoin season just yet. But as of yesterday, we were 23 in the orange, which was full-on Bitcoin season only. Interestingly enough, though, Bitcoin dominance does continue to climb at 64.4% according to CoinMarketCap. Checking in on the Bitcoin ETF tracker 2 weeks ago, over 3 billion, last week over 1.8 billion, and this week we are up over 339 million already this week. Wednesday, Thursday, Friday numbers are yet to report, obviously, so we'll continue to track this. As volume flows into these ETFs, Bitcoin price rises. Top 5 cryptos by total market cap. Bitcoin coming in at number 1, of course, 1.9 trillion at $97,000. Ethereum at $219 billion market cap at $1,800. Tether at $149 billion. XRP coming in at number 4, $124 billion, $2.13. BNB number 5, $602, $84 billion. And Solana wrapping it up at number 6, $147 and $46 billion total market cap. The financial news has been very important this week. The most important thing that could have come out and did is the federal funds rate forecasted at 4.5%, and it came out as 4.5%. As you saw in the intro, Jerome Powell, still at war with Donald Trump, will not reduce the federal funds rate. There was some crazy extreme volatility going on in the traditional markets around 11 until 1 p.m. in the afternoon. We also have a big headline news opportunity tomorrow, 5:30 a.m. The unemployment claims will be coming out, so stay tuned for that. It is forecast at 231,000. There will be no news on Friday. And looking ahead to next week, what red folder news do we have? Tuesday, we have CPI coming out. On Thursday, we're going to have retail sales unemployment claims coming out. And on Friday, we're going to have consumer sentiment and inflation expectation. Heading over to X to find out all the breaking news is happening right now. As we saw in the intro, Fed Chair Powell says, in support of our goals today, the Federal Open Market Committee decided to leave our policy interest rate unchanged. Now, as we covered yesterday, they did inject $34.8 billion into the market for liquidity, but that's not enough. We need quantitative easing to really send these markets sky high. So we'll have to wait for the next meeting from Jerome Powell to finally get that reduction in interest rate. And by the way, while we're here on X, before we move to the next topic, Bull Runners, we are giving away $100 worth of XRP. So head over to the Bull Runners X page, Bull Runners at Bull Runners HQ. If you want to win $100, all you have to do is like this post, comment XRP below, and sign up for our Blowfin affiliate link. Once you get your account started, $100, $50, $50,000, you do get a 10% bonus. The winners of the $100 XRP will be notified in our Sunday night newsletter. And on top of that, you also get our free ebook for free altcoin secrets. So all you have to do is like, comment, and sign up for Blowfin. That way you can day trade up and down in these markets. Breaking news, Citi and Swiss firm SDX will launch tokenized pre-IPO shares in Q3. So early access to private equity via real-world assets. Trillions of dollars are coming to the crypto markets. Happy Tuesday. Lock in. The Digital Euro Association blog. Digital Euro Association partners with Ripple. And you can see also here the Ripple tag. And remember, we did cover this yesterday in the video. The European Central Bank, the ECB, plans to partner with the private sector to develop their digital euro. So they are moving ahead with a CBDC, and Ripple is partnered with them. Are they going to use Ripple technology for their rails of their CBDC? Just in, Treasury Scott Bessent says, we believe that the U.S. should be the premier destination for digital assets.
Yes, sir. We believe that the United States should be the premier destination for digital assets. And as members of this committee and the Senate are attempting to do, create good market structure around that, so that U.S. best practices are used around the world.
And that's really the point, right? Is having American U.S. best practices to sort of set the pace for others to follow, rather than us trying to fill in the holes that others that may be created by as others set that pace.
Yes, sir. And also that digital assets are an important source of innovation that will drive that can drive usage of the U.S. dollar around the world, as with stablecoin legislation. There is speculation that there may be up to $2 trillion of demand over the next few years for U.S. government securities from digital assets.
And we will be deep diving into more of this. U.S. Treasury Secretary expresses support for crypto bills at hearing in just a couple minutes. China to announce massive rate cuts. The United States didn't cut rates. Other countries are cutting rates like crazy, but Jerome Powell still at war with Donald Trump and will not drop those rates until he's ready. China just announced massive rate cuts and a $138 billion liquidity injection. Now, we did in the United States at least get that $34 billion liquidity injection, but China's stepping it up, taking it to the next level. And as you know what happens when $1 billion worth of USDT is minted? Bitcoin tends to pump. And sure enough, we are seeing volume coming in. We got some really great indicators we're going to be checking out on Bitcoin and XRP and Ethereum here today. Breaking $48 billion fintech giant Revolut to integrate the Bitcoin Lightning Network. So before we jump into this Coinbase reveals internal SEC conversations about XRP article, let's talk about what happened with the Secretary Scott Bessent talking about the crypto bill. Now, Scott Bessent is supporting stable coins and market structure bills being considered in Congress in response to a question about China. Bessent addressed lawmakers on May 7th hearing at the House Financial Services Committee, saying the United States should be the premier destination for digital assets. And that was in response to a question from America's dominance over China in crypto-related innovation. Democrats are pushing back on crypto bills amid the meme coin dinner controversy. And as you know, I showed you guys yesterday that Congress was trying to pass a bill, the anti-meme coin bill. And that's a really big push by the Democrats because of Trump's meme coin, Trump coin, and the dinner that he's having. So even before the announcement that he intended to hold an exclusive dinner and VIP tour for some of his top meme coin holders, Trump faced scrutiny from many lawmakers over allegations of conflict of interest surrounded in his crypto ventures. After Trump announced the dinner, though, that galvanized some Democrats against the crypto related. They really got pissed off by this because of the fact that there's words that some foreign dignitaries own so much Trump coin that they will be at this dinner. It's unclear at this time of publication whether Republicans who control both chambers will still have a vote to pass either bill. Now, Coinbase dropping some nuggets for XRP in the SEC conversations. Coinbase unleashed over 10,000 documents stemming from the Freedom of Information Act requests to multiple agencies, including the SEC, on Wednesday morning. If you're not familiar, Coinbase was also sued by the SEC, and they got out of their lawsuit, and it's completely done. But they didn't just give up. They also wanted to see all of the documents related to it. So they put in a FOIA request, got 10,000 documents, and in one email from June of 2023, the New York Attorney General's office asked if the SEC to file an amicus brief in support of the argument that Ether is a security. These newly released documents reveal that the SEC internally discussed whether XRP could be classified as a security, and that the agency was asked by the New York AG office to file a brief in support of their argument that ETH was a security. The New York AG office also sued KuCoin on March of 2023 for violating state laws around trading in securities and commodities, and notably named Ether as an unregistered security. The Attorney General Investor Protection Bureau Chief Shamiso Maswalsi said, "We would like to request that the SEC file an amicus in support of the argument that Ether is a security. Whether it is or not will not be dispositive in our case. We have the authority over both securities and commodities, but I think it would be beneficial to investor protection to get a court to hold that Ether is a security. Conversely, it wouldn't be great, though again not dispositive, for the court to decline to find it's a security." The question of whether Ether is a security came up under the SEC Gensler's leadership. Consensus sued the agency last year and said the agency's enforcement director allegedly approved the investigation into Ethereum 2.0 to examine people and entities buying and selling Ether, and that was later dropped. Now, Gensler has skirted the question of whether Ether is a security. However, he has noted that many cryptocurrencies are and would fall under his agency's jurisdiction. The SEC also emailed internally about whether XRP had the characteristics of a security in 2021. According to the FOIA documents released on Wednesday, says, "Could we ask him to opine on what risks to the XRP blockchain would or might materialize if Ripple walked away or disappeared," according to one email. And just to add some icing on top of the cake, I wanted to go over this with you for those of you that don't know. What is ETHgate? If you're not familiar, so ETHgate refers to a conspiracy theory in the cryptocurrency community, particularly among XRP supporters, alleging that Ethereum received preferential treatment from the US SEC, as we just saw the emails, compared to other cryptos like XRP. The theory suggests that Ethereum's founders, including Vitalik Buterin and Joseph Lubin, along with the Ethereum Foundation and Consensus, cultivated close relationships with the SEC officials and other influential entities, such as JP Morgan, to secure a favorable regulatory environment. And the key points include: the SEC classified Ethereum as a non-security, notably through 2018 speech by former SEC Director William Hinman, who stated that Ether was not a security. And that contrasted to the SEC's lawsuit against Ripple Labs, claiming XRP was an unregistered security. Hinman ties to the Simpson Thatcher, a law firm linked to Ethereum's Enterprise Alliance, and his interactions with Ethereum co-founder Vitalik Buterin before 2018 speech are cited as evidence of potential conflicts of interest. Steven Narioff, a former Ethereum advisor, has accused founders Joseph Lubin and Vitalik Buterin of fraudulent practices, claiming Ethereum's activities surpassed the FTX scandal in scale. He alleges that the collusion with the SEC officials, including Jay Clayton and current Gary Gensler, and questions Ethereum's decentralized, especially post its transition to proof of stake. Now, the controversy remains unproven, but highlights tensions in crypto regulation, with XRP advocates pushing for transparency and accountability. For a deeper dive, you can explore primary sources like the Hinman emails or follow discussions on X. All right, so let's have a little bit of fun now, checking out XRP on TradingView here. So we're on the daily charts real quick, and I wanted to show you guys some of the most popular signal apps that are out there, and we're going to see where we're at. Are we bullish or are we bearish on the daily? And we'll also check the weekly right now. So obviously right now we're sitting at $2.12. I did want to show you guys real quick. If you want to find key areas of support and resistance, we're here on the daily. We're going to switch over to the Heikin-Ashi candles. And all you got to do is look for the moves, the smooth moves, right? So this green move, this would be a top right here of the green move. This would be an area of interest right there. And you can see we're in that area of interest. So if you're more of a bullish catalyst type of player, you would use these areas for your move. Now, if you're looking more bearish, then you would go to the red. So this is green and then a red here. So this right here is an area of interest, which it also hit. Now, what is really scary here on the daily charts, we've got another area of interest. See how it's all green, all green, all green, and then there's this random red spot right here. So if we do go into bear market territory, we're for sure coming back into this zone, I believe, $1.45 to $1.28. Not saying we're going there now, but just checking out what's going on to the downside. That is going to be a great area for accumulation. If price ever gets down there, I know a lot of you guys in the comments are like, if XRP ever goes to $1.40 again, I'm buying so much, you have no idea. So I know some of you guys might be getting excited about that. $1.28 being the lower level. Now, what's really crazy is if for some wild and crazy reason we lost that level, our next lowest spot would be a red candle down here. And that would be this last red candle before the green up move is 51 cents. If that's everything, Black Swan event, World War III happens, whatnot, those are levels we could take a look at. All right. So that's what we are looking at to the downside. Now let's take a look at the upside here real quick. First and foremost, our most recent top of the green is right here. So we're going to pop this right there on that candle. Let's make it a different color. We'll go green and we'll go green. All right, so that's our upside candle there. We are going to run into, I mean, this is a good thing, but this is going to be some resistance here, 222 to 231. Now, the next level up is before this green drop, before the red drop, sorry, there's a green candle right here. That will be an area of interest for us, okay? And then you can see this one right here. And then we're going to get, it looks, I mean, unfortunately, there's a whole lot of Chop City coming in the way, right? So we got this area. We can even use this area right here. And then all of this is going to be strong resistance. So once we do start getting our bullish catalyst back, there's going to be a lot of bears fighting to push it back down. Just understand that. And then our next level is going to be this candle right here. There we go. All right, you can even see where this previous move to the upside came and got right there, and there was a whole bunch of sellers. So as we move up into these green areas, people are waiting to sell at these levels. Just keep that in mind. And then, of course, we will have our last green candle before the start of our downtrend. But what we're going to do, we're going to also include our all-time high in there, and boom. All right, so those are areas of interest that we're looking at for the upside. So a whole lot, and it's a lot of mess. Unfortunately, that's just where we're at. Now, if we switch it over to the weekly charts, let's go ahead and throw all of this away, remove all of the drawings. The weekly charts, as we can see, all of this green to the upside, right? So all of this green. So we have one red candle before the green move to the upside, 53 to 49 cents. We do have this random red candle right here, which we can use. And what's interesting is we've been playing in this box, right? So price has been coming down in there. Let's go ahead and switch to traditional candles. The way I find support and resistance is through the Heikin-Ashis, but now let's switch to traditional and you'll be able to see this. So right here, we can see that obviously this was the start of our spot, moved up. Fortunately, bodies of candles were not closing down below this area. However, this week right here of March 31st, we did actually have a body of candle closing below there. Luckily, the very next week, it pushed it right. So there was no continuation there, even though it got nasty and dirty. But if we take a look back on why that happened, let's go ahead and rewind this. We're going to go back to here. So watch this, right? So we're going to go back to this candle, and now we're going to play. And we're going to make the moves forward. Look at that fair value gap that price left behind there. And it's going to stay there. And as you guys know, I talk a lot about fair value gaps. Boom, poked far enough down and broke below the center line there. However, as you can see, there's still this little bit of red right here, right? Well, there is still remaining fair value gap. And as it continues to play out here, we'll go ahead and speed it up a little bit. Go like 3x speed. And it's making its move on the weekly charts. Now it makes our move all the way up to our all-time high, leaves a fair value gap. But remember, there's still this fair value gap right here. Price came down and stabbed in there right there. And boom, we just poked all the way through to the bottom of that fair value gap, cleared it all the way out on this candle. So that gives me reason to believe that we are able to move to the upside here. We have to clear this box, and this box clears at $2.34. And this is just me charting on a clean sheet here. We also have, this is our weekly spider line chart, the one that we always use on the channel. I just wanted to do something a little different for you guys, but you can see we do have a support level right here on the smaller time frame. But the resistance we have at 225 and then all the way up to 250 is what we're looking for. But just taking it all the way back to plain supply and demand without resistance levels from those spider lines, this is the candle we're watching. This is the block that it created, support and resistance. It needs to break above this 234. As we can see right here on this last candle, it tried to do that. But as we take a look here on the daily charts, you can see how well that this level has been a support, even though it's broken down a tiny bit below there. But right now, as we saw right here on April 28th, it tried to break through there. Unfortunately, the body of the candle could not clear it. But that's what we need to clear, 235, to get out of this. It's an order block on the weekly charts that still needs to be pushed back above, like we've been following along with. And then if we take a look at Bitcoin now, something similar is happening. We have our box right here. This was our big move to the upside in the green. And then this right here is our top candle. It covers too much space though, so I'm going to go ahead and delete that one. We'll go ahead and look at the all-time high candle and the one right next to it. So that would be this candle and the all-time high price. So if we're looking at this on Heikin-Ashi candles, you can see we're still looking green, which is very positive. When we transfer back into traditional candles, we have broken through this area, which was a resistance. Go back to Heikin-Ashi and delete this. Now let's look on a smaller time frame. We'll take a look on the daily charts here. So before this massive red drop, we have this green candle right here. Let's go ahead and highlight that one. And you can see we're in that box right now. So that's actually very positive. You can see we're riding on top of it now. We broke into the box and it's holding it as a support. So the next level up that we really need to see broken is 99.5, 99,500. Then we would see the potential move up to here, which is going to be 101.303. 101.303. All right, so let's jump over to XRP in our other. Okay, so now let's take a look at the most popular signal services that are free on TradingView. So first and foremost, we're going to be taking a look at the Fu Manchu signals free, and we're going to turn them on. As we can see on the weekly charts, there was a buy signal here for the Fu Manchu on April 21st, if we're in the Heikin-Ashi candles. And from there, price has moved up nicely. So pricing at 86,000 to 95, so that's a $10,000 move. The last signal was a sell signal, which came in at February 18th when price was 96,000, and it did make a move down to 78,000, and it did start doing that, but more than likely someone would be taking profit in there. Prior to that, the buy signal was January 18th. Didn't really give you anything. I mean, you got some move to the upside, but reality, that would be probably not a great move there. Same thing with the sell signal here. So when we're in a range bound scenario, which we were here, the sell, buy, sell, you have to keep your stop losses extremely tight. So we'll go ahead and take that off. Now let's look at the Super Guppy. So Super Guppy turned bullish down here, October 11th. You could ride that all the way up. Obviously, probably going to be taking profit in here somewhere or tracking yourself with a trailing stop loss. But October 11th, October 12th, turning bullish. And then just now, we've got another turn bullish on the daily here on May 5th. Let's take a look at XRP. Super Guppy's still bearish. Super Guppy did turn bullish on November 10th before the massive run to the upside. So right now, no buy signal from Super Guppy. Let's take a look back here. No buy signal on the Fu Manchu. Let's take a look at QQE signals. QQE is also a short right now. And let's take a look at the super trend. Super trend is also short right now. So super trend is short. QQE is short. Super Guppy is short. And Fu Manchu is also still a short for XRP. Those are all on the daily charts. Let's take a look at the weekly. So Fu Manchu is in a sell on the weekly. Last time it was a buy was all the way back on September of 2024 before the massive move. So it'll be nice to see when that does switch back over to a buy. Super Guppy is still bullish, as we can see there. QQE signals is also in a short. The last long on the weekly was November 11th. Super trend is still bullish. Now this is pretty gnarly, right? If you're going long on the super trend, it has been bullish long on just super trend trending up since July of 2023. You wouldn't have sold anything according to the super trend. So some people really love this. Now that's on the weekly chart. On the daily chart, as you saw, we are definitely in the bearish trend right now. In order for this to switch, it has to break above this level here, which is $2.45. Looking at Bitcoin, Bitcoin super trend is bullish right now on the daily. QQE signals has been a long on the daily since April 12th. Super Guppy just turned long. We talked about that just a minute ago. And Fu Manchu buy indicator has signaled on April 21st. So if you are interested in day trading, don't forget to sign up to Blowfin over on our X account or the links down below. Glad to have you guys over there for some trading fun. Get started today.
Hey, bull runners, check this out. If you want to learn how to find the next 10x, 50x, or even 100x altcoin in this video, listen to this. Our research team posted GOAT on the 13th of October of 2024 when it was right at a penny, and since then it rallied to over $1 and is currently still up over 5,000%. That's like turning $1,000 into over $50,000. Our team called Pendle at only a $16 million market cap, or 16 cents, back on February 18th of 2023, all the way back here, and since then it's rallied up over 4,000%. That's a 40x. It's like turning $1,000 into over $40,000. Our team also called BitTensor Tau September 15th, 2022, before the token was ever even launched. And since then, Tau has rallied over 2,000%. That's a 20x. Our team even said Solana is most likely to be one of the easiest trades next year, and this was posted December 29th, 2022, on the day that Solana bottomed out at around $8. And since then, Solana looks like it's up over 2,500%. That's a 25x. It's like turning $1,000 into over $25,000. And the bull run is just getting started. The list goes on and on and on. Our team called Sui, Ondo, and even some of the biggest cult-based meme coins like MOG back in July 20th of 2023, the day that MOG launched. So if you want to learn how our team is finding these altcoins before they explode, we just launched Altcoin Pro University, where our research team gives you real-time altcoin picks with explosive potential for this bull run, along with 100+ expert curated classes crafted by industry experts to discover these gems yourself, on top of our live weekly calls every single week for in-depth crypto market analysis and daily updates. And that's just a fraction of what we offer inside of Altcoin Pro University. Just go through the link in the description below, get in right now, watch the 26-minute video covering everything that Altcoin Pro University offers,